All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick tour of all of the cities that you need to know for this section on the regions of American geography. And once you've got this complete and you have seen the cities, we'll take you on a tour around the room where you can work in partner pairs and identify the major cities and then put them together in your packets with a cut and paste. All right, so historically important cities in each U.S. region. Here we go. Let's start out with the Northeast. And you've seen this graphic before, so there appear to be four major cities that you need to know. New York City, located right here. As you can see, it's called the Big Apple because it's the largest city in the United States. It's the World Cultural Center. It is home to the Empire State, a nickname for New York, and the Empire State Building. Of course, the Statue of Liberty and the United Nations is also located in New York. Then you have Boston, right here in Massachusetts, major shipping port, home to the finest universities, including Harvard, and it is nicknamed Beantown because of the Boston baked beans. The home of, or the birthplace of our democracy might be considered Philadelphia in Pennsylvania because it was the place where the Constitution and the uh, Declaration and Constitution were written and signed. So here's Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, founded by Quakers who preach love for all people. And of course, then Pittsburgh. As you can see, there are three rivers that come together in Pittsburgh, and that's why their sports teams play at Three River Stadium. It says here two rivers flow together to form the Ohio River. It's called the City of Bridges and the Steel City for its steel mills and hundreds of bridges that cross the river. So, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay, so there are your four cities in the Northeast. New York is an economic and financial center. Um, the financial industry is located at Wall Street. That's what you see here. And of course, immigrants come into New York through Ellis Island. They don't come through Ellis Island anymore. They used to. And here's a map of downtown New York City. All right, remember, we said it has five boroughs: Staten Island, Queens, Bronx, and Brooklyn, and Manhattan. And this is lower Manhattan right here, where you have the World Trade Center, now called Freedom Tower. So that's located here. And of course, down here you have Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. So this is all New York. All right, up to Boston. Famous for its textile industry, uh, textile factories. Now Philadelphia, here's Independence Hall, and it has also a very well-known city hall. Okay, that's the first location of our national government. Eventually, it went to New York, and then finally Washington D.C. And here you have a map of metropolitan Philadelphia, and as you can see, it is on the Delaware River. All right, Pittsburgh, economic home of the steel industry, hence the term Pittsburgh Steelers. And here are your rivers, the Allegheny and the Monongahela, formed to meet Ohio, and that's why it's called Three River Stadium. All right, and Pittsburgh was home of the steel industry through most of the 19th and 20th centuries. And there's Pittsburgh today. All right, now we're in the Southeast. Washington, D.C., a major capital in the world, the capital of the United States. You're aware that we have Atlanta, Georgia, which has a major transportation hub, one of the largest airports in the United States. It's quickly growing, home to Coca-Cola. Then we have New Orleans, right here at the mouth of the Mississippi and on Lake Pontchartrain. Shipping and trade being a major element. Of course, we was hit hard by Hurricane Katrina in 2005. And then Miami, which just suffered under Hurricane Irma, right here on the Florida Peninsula. Okay. All right, that's the Southeast. There's Washington, D.C., a nice shot of what we call the National Mall. Washington Monument here, U.S. Capitol, home of Congress, and here's the U.S. Supreme Court. All right, Atlanta, a very prosperous southern city and a major transportation hub. And right there, pretty much in the center of Georgia. New Orleans, as we said, surrounded by water on three sides, and the city uh, is actually below sea level. All right, moving on. Now we're at the Midwest. We've got lots of cities, or three main cities here. We need to know Chicago, which is located right on Lake Michigan. It's a meatpacking center, also called the Windy City. St. Louis, the gateway to the west with its Gateway Arch, and Detroit, the home of American automotive industry, otherwise known as Motor City. So here's Chicago. This is known as the Willis Tower, second tallest building in the United States after Freedom Tower, home of the meatpacking industry. There it is. The meatpacking industry underwent great reform in the early 1900s with a book called The Jungle, and then laws were passed that regulated the meat industry. All right, and here's St. Louis, economic starting point for westward expansion. This is the Gateway Arch, which you can actually go up into. All right, here's Detroit, Michigan, home of our auto industry, our three major auto producers. This is the GM building, and of course we have Ford and Chrysler. If you need to find it on a map, there it is, Detroit, Michigan. All right, home of the automobile industry, which pretty much was given birth by Henry Ford in the early 1900s with his Model T, and he perfected the assembly line. All right, now we're into the Southwest. Major cities here are San Antonio in Texas, home of the Alamo. Famous battle was fought for Texas independence. And then Santa Fe, New Mexico. Don't forget Phoenix, Arizona. And here's the Colorado River, which cuts into the Grand Canyon. Also, make a note that the Rio Grande, which runs along this border here, is the border between Mexico and the United States. All right, San Antonio, culturally important site. The Alamo, it's a great fort. And of course, Santa Fe is a economic stop on settlers moving west. Now the Rocky Mountains. All right, we should know Denver, Mile High City, because it's high up in the Rocky Mountains, and Salt Lake City, founded by the Mormons, where they have the Mormon temple and tabernacle on the Great Salt Lake. Second saltiest body of water. Now we're looking at Denver. Denver, Colorado, made a boom town by gold mining in the 1800s, and it's right here in Colorado. And now Salt Lake City, founded by the Mormons, once again, seeking religious freedom. And now we're in the Pacific States. And we should always know Los Angeles here, which is known for the entertainment industry. San Francisco with its computing industry around what's called Silicon Valley. And then Seattle with its major industries. Here's the Space Needle, which is an icon of Seattle. If you look at San Francisco, its trolley cars and famous hills are part of it. All right, and then here's San Francisco again with the Golden Gate Bridge. Los Angeles, the movie industry, part of which is Hollywood. And lumber and timber, the gold rush for Seattle. All right, we have two states that are not touching the other two. That's Hawaii out in the Pacific, and Alaska, which we purchased from Russia. Major cities, of course, are the capital, Honolulu, and Juneau, which is along this peninsula right here. But we should also know about Fairbanks and Anchorage. And you can see the major industries, fishing and oil up here in Alaska, and pineapple and sugar and tourism for Hawaii. And that, my friends, here we go, Honolulu, as we said before, tourism. And it's the home to the Pacific Fleet, which was attacked on December 7th, 1941. And then Juneau is the capital of Alaska. All right, we're going to wrap it up there, and hopefully that was helpful. And here we go.